Good afternoon and welcome to More Meets the Eye. I'm your host Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about Gamervverse Ratchet in his robot mode. Here at Blind Prime, we like to change up things. Unlike the normal Transformers reviews, we cover a robot, then we cover the transformation, then we cover the vehicle. Or we do it in the opposite order. The order of which we start these videos always depends on what form the Transformer comes out of the packaging. That way, anybody who is visually impaired or blind can get the full experience with me of, here's the robot as it is out of the packaging, let's talk about it. And then next time we'll talk about, how to transform it, and with my verbal instructional videos called Blindformers. Then after that, we'll discuss the vehicle mode and what you get with that. And it all comes together pretty nicely, in my opinion. I do wish that when they went to the whole hole in the side of the box thing, they started just packaging up the Transformers in vehicle mode, because the vehicle modes are usually smaller, more compact, so that would have added, that would have lessened packaging costs for sure, and you wouldn't have had to worry about, kids or just gremlins coming by and grabbing the head of your action figure and trying to rip it off or something. Now, that was always bothering me, like the head's just right there, and people do, fiddle with those things. But that's neither here nor there. Today we're going to be talking about Ratchet in his robot mode. I just kind of wanted to let you know about the general way I do things, because we have more than 100 new subscribers on this channel. That's awesome. Hello to all of you new people. And yeah, so that's what we do here. And we're also going to cover a few other things. Before we get into Ratchet today, I have a couple of announcements. Announcement number one is I've got this sticker that I got in a ballot in the mail, and this sticker lets me know, lets everybody know that that I did my thing. There we go. I did the thing, and if you live in the United States of America, you should go out and do the thing that everyone's talking about you doing. If you don't know what the thing is, just turn on the news. You'll probably figure out what the thing is that I did. But, mine came in the mail, and I returned it in the mail. Thank you, United States Postal Service. You get 2 thumbs up from me. Got a very nice mail person in my neighborhood, and I think most people do. Aren't they just some cool people? All right, next announcement before we get into the Transformer is I've got a video coming up. Oh! How does a blind man carve a pumpkin? So, keep an eye out for that video. I've got my wonderful pumpkin, keeping it away from the table because I'm terrified that that Cream is going to decide the pumpkin needs to remove itself from his sleeping area, and then I'm going to have a very big mess on my floor after that, and I don't want that. So we're keeping it on the floor to stop Cream from harassing it. See, he's already over here in a sleeping spot that's not your sleeping spot. Your sleeping spot's over here. Your sleeping spot is over here. That isn't your sleeping spot. Why are you being a butthead? Why are you being a butthead today? Sleeping in spots that aren't his to sleep in. Yeah, you silly guy. Sleep somewhere else. Okay, all right, so let's get into it. Finally, I'm going to, I've got Sideswipe here from Gamervverse. I wanted to do a size comparison with him and Ratchet here. Now that Sideswipe is my smallest Gamervverse character, I am going to use him for size comparisons until I get a Bumblebee or a Cliffjumper. But Perspective-In really turned me off of those before I ever got them, and honestly, that first wave of Gamervverse was not what I was expecting. I'm still dissatisfied with both the Prime and the Megatron. More so with the Megatron than the Prime, honestly. So here's them back to back. We get that the top of Sideswipe's head goes to the midway, up the backpack, shoulder to shoulder. We get that Sideswipe's top of his shoulder comes up to midway up the upper arm of Ratchet here. Pretty good overall. I like that Ratchet's pauldrons are movable, and I like that you can unclip Sideswipe's pauldrons. Head-wise, you put them face-to-face, and Ratchet's head overlooks Sideswipe's head. The top of Sideswipe's head comes to... what is that? That is halfway up Ratchet's head. So, And that's kind of an understanding of the sizes there. And where's my handy dandy Lego pad? Here it is. Oh, I am so happy I found this again. So let's go ahead and bring up his size comparison. We've got handy dandy Lego. Come on, come on. Handy dandy Lego pad. Don't you bite me today. Okay. Now we've got, no, that's just not going to work because I don't measure by top of backpack. I measure by top of head. I don't measure by top of backpack in a second. There we go. Top of head is 17, 18 studs tall. And top of backpack is, let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20 studs tall. So that's a kind of a grasp of what this guy's dimensions are. He's a big one, but he's not really, incredibly tall. So he works out pretty well, and I'm very curious about what they'll do for a leader class in this war, in the Gamerverse wave. Like, what will the leader class be? Because, you would think that it would be the Optimus Prime or the Megatron, but they do like to do those in Voyager, which I'm always sad about. I think if they had given those two figures the leadership attention that they deserved, we would have gotten better figures than what we received with those two. So let's go over this. Ratchet being a Voyager is a very good place for Ratchet. Ratchet should never be a deluxe. He's just too big. Okay, I've got two weapons for Ratchet here. We've got his gun, and you can do two things with this, which I'm so happy that they did here. You have two options for the weapon. You can either put the weapon in his hand. Here we go. Spinning it around. There we are. All right, put the weapon in his hand with the siege peg that is available to just plug into his hand. Like I'm failing at right now. I'm totally failing at putting it back in his hand. Come to Blind Prime. You get to watch a blind man fail putting a gun in a fist. There it goes. Okay, so that's, you could put it in his hand, or, and I think it's only the right arms that get removed for some reason. Nobody's a lefty in the Transformers world. Like, what's wrong? Why can't you remove your left arm to make it into a weapon? Why you gotta always be on the right-hand side of things, huh? Well, let's go ahead and add, yes, let's go ahead. Come on. So this weapon is supposed to plug in. It's supposed to plug in. Maybe I had it upside down. Maybe it's supposed to plug in the other way. Let's see. All right, so there's this arm peg thing, and maybe it's supposed to plug in like this. Yeah, I think it is. It's supposed to plug in some way, that's for sure. I mean, it's got the thing there to plug in, but it doesn't like plugging in, and it is not very satisfied with it. And honestly, I'm not very satisfied with this entire gimmick of removing an arm to plug something in. It's just not, it's not the best. Especially when these sets don't make the best connection ports. Like, you come out of Siege with all of those connection ports. Finally, I got it. And you're like, okay, they're going to learn a lot from how connection ports work. And then you come across some things like this where it's just, did you not learn anything from Siege? Where you had all that practice? So here's the weird spinny weapon he's got. It spins on the end. It'd be cool if those little jaws opened up, but you can plug a blast effect in there, so long as the blast effect isn't too thick. So it's got to be a very thin beam blast effect. For instance, no, we can't use those. Those are so rare when it comes to blast effects. We got my blast effect container right there. Stand up straight, sir. All right, let's grab a blast effect. Let's take a look. We need a blast effect that is long and thin, because you, sir, have a very odd-shaped gun. It's going to require a laser beam. I need a laser beam. Here's a laser beam. Okay, so the laser beams, I think, are the only ones that will work, but I am worried about the opening claws there, and sure enough, the laser beam does not work in that opening claw. That's just not working. Oh, man. See, they're too close together. You can't get, this is one of the thinnest blast effects out there, and you can't get it in there. And, oh, man, it's phrasing right now. Just so much phrasing is going on. So, that's kind of a negative with him and his weapon. Let's put this blast effect back before I lose it. There it goes. Okay, so let's continue talking about this guy. Let's remove the gun. The gun's got some cool textures to it. It's decent overall. He fell because we always knock things over here. Blind, stand, sir. What's going on? What happened? Well, you don't want to stand anymore. Did dropping you that time cause you to disassemble yourself or something? Okay, good. All right, so the gun's decent. It's got the spinny bit on the end, but these claws are too close together to allow you to plug blast effects. Even though that feels like it's a 5mm port in there, or it kind of feels like it's a 5mm port. So let's go ahead and plug his arm back on. Let's see if this one is as difficult with sideswipe. As difficult as the sideswipe was. The sideswipe arm I never want to remove again because, wow, that one was a pain. So let's see, can we get this back in correctly? What is the correct way again? Is it this way? Wow, that never happens. I did it first. I did it right on the first try. So to plug the arm back in, all you need to do is feel for the smoothest side. It's directly opposite of this side that's got this weird little peg sticking out of it. And yeah, you find the smoothest side that goes up, and that's the side that connects with the wheel. So there you go. I mean, you can always look at the other arm and mirror it too. That's a possibility. So let's come over here to the other blast effect. I mean, not blast effect, the other accessory, which I've got to pull out of his hand. There it goes. This is neat. I like how they're doing these weapons here. They're actually taking these weapons and splitting them up. So you have a handle and you have a top, and then you can slide your Transformer's hand down the handle and plug the handle into the top, and that completes it. So you can have some really cool things, like this one's got this really cool pommel at the bottom of the handle. I like it, and I'm very, very happy that they started doing this. This is one of the things that I'm very satisfied with the Gamerverse series is their melee weapons. They are actually kind of fun and really unique, and also they do work well with the transformation. It's a little goofy, but I think that happened in the game too. So it was always a little goofy, but their weapon just kind of hung out on top of their vehicle mode, and that was always fun. So let's go over this guy's articulation since we covered the accessories. And first off on the list is the first negative on this guy. Wait, no, he has them. Oh man, he has got some weird ankle tilt. I'll let you know. Okay, his ankle tilt is very stiff, but once you get it, you can actually fold his ankle 90 degrees at that ankle tilt. So you can get him in some really cool poses with an ankle tilt that aggressive. So that's fun. He's got toe action there, so pretty good little joint for the toe, and it moves both up and down. So you guarantee that it's never going to be stable for your Transformer. The big wheel on the side, I appreciate, especially like how the transformation works, where the top of the wheel and top of the vehicle mode is behind him, behind his leg, and you're actually seeing the underside of the vehicle with the wheel like pointed that way. It's fun, and it feels fun, and I do love these wheels and how they're not a stupid pin that has that texture of a flathead screw. I don't like that, and so I'm happy that this one doesn't seem to have it. I don't think. No, it doesn't. It's good. I like that makes it feel more of a premium item. And coming over here to the front of the legs, we've got this really fun armor texture coming down. I like how these guys seem to have armor, and it's smooth and stuff. It feels like it just feels good. It feels right. I mean, this guy's plastic is top notch. Coming up here to the thigh, and what is this? Is this any sort of thigh sculpt work? Yeah, there's some stuff going on here. It's not as textured as I would like it, but it's very smooth and sleek, and it matches the rest of his armor as if he's got some armor over his thigh stuff, his thigh components for robot mode. I like that. I like the armor paneling here and the plating that's on there, and the texture, the glossy smooth texture that fits with the rest of the glossy smooth texture of his armor. That's spot on. I love it. And I'm very happy every time they do something like that with the thighs. Now let's check the knee bend. 90-degree knee bend. Now let's check 90-degree at the sideways kick, 90 degrees at the forward kick. More than 90, but not much more. We give it 92 degrees, 93 degrees at the reverse. And he's got swivel right at the knee. Is that swivel? Yeah, that's thigh swivel above the knee. And now we continue. Oh, on the inside of the leg here, we've got some really cool interior texturing here. We've got some armor panels, some rivets, some, I was going to say ratchets, but that's a tool. So that's fun. It's really well done, and it's got, once again, that smooth, glossy texture that tells you it's part of his armor. And it is really fun how that works in transformation. I've got a bit of it mistransformed on the other side, but it's a really fun thing to have. And on the back of the leg, we've got this stuff going on here. It's got a little gap, but it works with what's happening here. And so I approve of that gap. It kind of makes this thing seem a little more dense, a little more in-depth. There's depth to these gaps. So that's really cool. And there's no waffling happening, none on the feet, none in the legs, no hollow sections. It's all being used very well. Even on the back here, we come up here to the back. We've got, if you pull his backpack down, which his backpack's just on this little piece, that you can move it around, you can pull it up or push it down. I do wish that they had done a little more to get rid of this backpack. Maybe instead of folding these two forwards, you could have folded them backwards and changed the way that this thing would fit, set. Or maybe actually allow for this bar hinge down here to have a swivel in the middle of it so that we could swivel this backpack 180 degrees, and then we could plug him into, then this stuff in the here would actually be facing outwards. I think that would look a little better, but you can always close it up a bit, and then you can just kind of bring it up and give him a weird silhouette. So it's something you can do, but I do think that this backpack here was almost an afterthought. But below the backpack, what we have is some well-textured, solid robot going on here. We've got robot textures going up the back, and what I mean by robot textures is the occasional hydraulic, the bend of armor, things that aren't car textures. And there's like joints and stuff that you can feel, but they're more on the they've been kind of roboticized to make it feel like it's more of less of a joint necessary for transformation and more of a joint necessary for the transformation of a real robot guy. I don't know how to really describe that well enough there. That's really nice. So the textures on his back are spot on and really cool. I don't like how the backpack works. I wish they had figured out something better to do with that, but it's been a while since I've actually seen the game, so I don't know if that's how he looks in the game or not. I don't really remember. Now we're moving over here to his front of his body, and we've got this, we've got his core armor here, and honestly, with how up-armored everything else is, I'm actually a little surprised that there's not more of that glossy armor on his core. It's up here at the top near the head, near his, he's got a mono boob too, but it's a very small one. I don't know why they keep giving Ratchets mono boobs. It's weird to me. That was the thing I disliked about the Bumblebee concept art one, was how pronounced his mono boob was. But this guy's is a little better. It's just, I would expect that to be more of a windshield than what we get here. We get some robot textures, like some cables and what feels like more high. What is that stuff? That's cabling and some armor sleeves, I guess, little slivers of metal and stuff coming together to create his core. He doesn't have any sort of core bend because of transformation. I think, giving all the cool designs there, that would have been another thing that I wish they had managed to do, is give him a little bit of a core ratchet for the Ratchet. That would have been neat. And honestly, there are no Ratchet joints in this, and that's a shame. You got a guy named Ratchet. You could give us a Ratchet joint. Just for the lulz of it. Come on, it's Ratchet. So that's the core. Pretty good overall, I think. And then we come up here to his head, and his head's got these two big ears coming up on either side, and we've got a crest right there, but it's not a venti crest. It's a pointed crest, like a crown or something, or a circlet. And then his face doesn't have a face mask, but it's looking pretty good, I think. Ratchet was always he's got the strong, sturdy face of like a first aid responder from MASH. And we come over here to his arms. We've got this armor plating on the back of his hand. I do wish that they had found a way to change that up. Maybe it'll give us a way to fold the arms out and not have this plate hanging out on the back of the hand. I don't like it when they do that. They did it with Wheeljack, and I didn't like it there either. So that's just my own personal dissatisfaction with that. But it spins 360 degrees, which is nice. It's really good for hands. And we've got an upper arm swivel. We've got an elbow bend. That's pretty crazy. That's a big elbow bend. That's more than 90. I'd give that one, is that 110? I think I'd give it 110. Not on the other arm, though. His left arm only pulls a 90, but his right arm pulls more than a 90. Wow, yeah, you get a lot. You get a lot, sir. And then we've got this upper arm bend that comes back and forth. Pretty good. You got this pauldron on his shoulder that folds up and rotates around, so it's actually really maneuverable. So if you want to raise his arm up, the pauldron actually moves with it. I love it. I absolutely love how that works, and that's always approved whenever you do cool pauldrons that have things like that. His right arm almost has a double elbow because of this joint in the upper arm area, so that's why he gets such a good maximum there. This arm, though, let's see, can we actually pull that out? Where is that other joint? Do you exist? Oh, you do, just on the side. We can actually, can we fix that any way whatsoever? If we rotate that arm around, we can change it up so that he has a double jointed arm. It makes his arm a little longer, but it does give you a double jointed elbow, which is always fun. It's always fun. We can fold that pauldron back down and kind of hide that his arms are a little lower than they should be. There we go. Yeah, sweet. Nicely done. Nicely done. This figure is nicely done. I like him. I like him a lot. I like how stiff his joints are. You give him the wiggle test, nothing wiggles. I like the fact that his arm doesn't just pop off like with Megatron or Optimus Prime. That first wave of Gamerverse was just, it was disappointing. And it's honestly taken a sideswipe for me to come back to Gamerverse. I waited. I didn't like what I was hearing with anything, but it's a sideswipe, and Sideswipe's one of those Transformers, and Ratchet's one of those Transformers. If I come across a Sideswipe, I'm going to do my best to get it. If I come across a Ratchet, I'm going to do my best to get it. If I come across a Warpath, the same goes for that guy too. There's just a few Transformers out there, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one like this out there, that there's a few characters that you have where you try to get all of them just to see what the different versions feel like. Because that's kind of the fun of Transformers, in that there's so many different versions. You can pull out multiple Ratchets and have a Ratchet off. And you know what? Why don't we do that? I think, let's see, how many Ratchets do I have? 1, 2, 3. And then I have a tiny Ratchet. And I have another tiny Ratchet. I got 5 Ratchets. I got a stupid kid's Ratchet that has a simple transformation. I've got the whatever scale they call 3.5 inch these days. Maybe it's Legends. I have him. And then I have 86 Ratchet. I have the Earthrise, Evil Ratchet. And I have Bumblebee Ratchet. And I have this Ratchet. Pretty good Ratchets. Good amount of Ratchets. And I think that's 6, actually, now that I really think about it. What do you think, Cream? Is that 5 or 6? He doesn't do math. Unless it's counting how many times he's eaten today. That's the only math Cream does. And the amount of times he's eaten today equals not enough times. Anyway, overall rating for Gamerverse Ratchet is, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I wish he was a little more a little more with the articulation, and the backpack is a throw off. But overall, this guy is a good Transformer. I really like this robot mode, and I think if this robot mode, fixed up a few things, it'd get a good 10 out of 10. But there's no looseness to it, and honestly, really thinking about it, I gotta give him a 9 out of 10. I have no idea if he actually resembles the character from Gamerverse, but comparing him to that Bumblebee Cybertronian Ratchet, I prefer this Ratchet. This guy is so much better. He's bigger, he's heavier, his plastic qualities is insanely nice. And he doesn't have that stupid mono boob that just kind of threw me off and made me think he was just way too goofy looking. And this guy's not so much goofy looking. He's good. He's good character. And let me know in the comments below, does he have the Autobot health symbol painted on his pauldrons? Please let me know. Thank you again for watching. I've been Blind Prime, and this guy's been Cream the Cat. Cream, why are you staying away from the camera so much? Huh? Why don't you come around and say hi? Say hi to the fans. People like you, Cream. Yeah, they like you. Did you know that? Did you know people like you? Nah, he doesn't care if people like him or not. If somebody's here, they will give him scratches or food. That is what he cares about. You are a huge cat. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.